You're listening to Life and Shyt. I'm Danielle Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal.
Hey, baby.
What up?
How you doing?
Like I woke up, popped up.
Like, where were you at? Hey, you had to be watching to see him pop up. Like, oh.
There he goes. I feel like a Muppet baby.
He is stupid. Aw, the Muppets. I got a question for you.
Hit me.
Did you ever think that you would be a landlord or go from a renter into a landlord? Why do they call it landlords?
I'm sure there's a. Let me look it up.
Is it no longer called landlords anymore? Or
no, 1,000% is still called landlords.
Like, the Lord of the land is coming.
That's exactly probably what it is.
Because they got the right to put your ass out or keep you in there, right? Yeah, because I remember one time my landlord was like, "Oh, we're gonna sell the house. Like, we're selling this property, so you got to move in 30 days." Like, wait, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I think I talked about this before. I did get my deposit back, and I didn't have to pay rent for like 2 months or something like that. So it was okay. I wasn't so bad. I mean, not 2 months. It was 1 month because we had to go in a month.
And pretty much that's exactly what it says. Is the concept of a landlord. It goes back to the feudal system.
The feudal?
Feudal.
Mm.
Where a landed estate is owned by a lord of the manor.
Oh, okay.
So that's the history on landlord.
And we just took that and ran with it, huh? We was
1,000%. And then you asked me, would I be a landlord? Yeah. Well, I thought I'd be a landlord.
Okay.
I was like, if you look back on like Andrew Carnegie, like these guys that were uber rich back in the days, right? Mm-hmm. So Carnegie, Rockefeller, all these cats, they said 90% of the millionaires, especially back then, got their money from real estate. So if that's how you got your money, then why not I go out and do the same thing, because it's duplicatable, right?
Yeah.
It's not real estate is not something that you like, I got it all to myself and I don't want to share it with nobody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's impossible to do that. Mm-hmm. So if you could do it, then I can do it. And if you're doing it and you probably suck at it, then I damn sure could do it. And that's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's just funny. I always knew that I would own properties, but I never really thought of like owning like an apartment complex, and being that person. Like I would look and say like, yeah, like I would want to, but I never thought like I would be that person. I don't know. I knew I would have properties, and as far as the properties go, I knew I just want properties in different places, but not necessarily like people staying there. Just being able to go to my other property. That's it.
Well, you got, and you also have this quote that you got from your stepfather that you always like to repeat over and over again. So what did he tell us? One of those
they
things
won't make more dirt. That's one thing they won't make.
They don't make more dirt, so buy it up.
Yep. The earth it's not growing. It's not getting bigger. It's like, that's it. It is what it is. So the more you own of it, the better off you are.
1,000%. So today we talk about managing rental properties, right? It's kind of some real estate education. And you talked about that you knew that you was always going to do it in different cities, different states, or whatever the case may be. Did you have was there any strategy? Like, did you did you know like how you were going to go about doing it?
Oh God, no. I read a lot of books as a kid. And I always just envisioned myself owning properties, or like I just did. I knew this was gonna happen, but I didn't have any rhyme or reason or way, and I think that's why I always work hard as fuck, right? So it's like I'm work 2-3 jobs, and why you work so hard? It's like because I got goals, I know there's more. There's something else, you know what I mean? So I think that's what it was.
1,000%. And owning real estate, multiple real estate, was probably one of the hardest things mindset for me to comprehend, because I was like, well, shit, getting one house was hard. How do I get another one?
Right.
And then do it again over and over again. So I read books, I read books, and And in those books, it talks about, I think, so remember the book I had where it was creative real estate and how to get property with other people's money.
Oh, yeah,
and all that. So I read all of those books.
And you read Grant Cardone, is it, right?
I read.
How to, talks about getting doors, right?
No, not that one.
Okay.
I read 2 of his books, but it wasn't really about how to get doors. It was I don't even remember the name of the creative real estate book that I got. And then it was some other random real estate book, super low key. I'm saying low key because I'm being nice, but I didn't get anything from them.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's like you read these books and you're looking for the secret sauce, right? And you're looking for the magic pill that everybody always talking about.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, I got it. Now I'm gonna go out and buy it. It takes money. That's all it is. As long as you have some money, you could go out and buy. And granted, there is creative real estate out there, right? There is people are still oh, I'm gonna take somebody else's money and I'm gonna do this, and I don't have any experience in that. You don't have any experience in that, and together we just did it the old-fashioned way. Is we bought a house, we saved some money, we bought another one. Right. So, and our first one was a condo. It was a $45,000. We paid $45,000, all cash.
Yep.
And because of my experience as a real estate salesman, I had a conversation with another realtor. Told her this is what I want to do.
Let's go.
Let's go. And she was on board, and we made it happen. And we had a little bidding war. It was because it started at $40,000.
Yeah.
Now if you're listening to this, you're like, where the fuck can you buy a condo for $45,000?
Right.
It was a 2-bedroom. We live in San Diego. There is nothing in San Diego at that price point.
No.
Nothing.
No.
So and we just had a conversation with your sister the other day. She lives in a 2-bedroom.
Oh yeah.
And 2-bedroom, I mean, literally probably the same size. 2-bedroom in San Diego, over $400,000.
Yep. And she bought it for 105, I want to say.
180.
180. Oh,
180,000.
Wow.
And we bought a 2-bedroom for $40,000,
I want to say
$45,000.
ours is a little bit bigger than hers too.
700 square feet is ours.
Okay.
So we so that's where we started, right? We started small. We got our feet wet. It was a renter. We had a renter in it, and we didn't have to do anything to it. We never even seen it.
Nope.
And
that was a trip. That's a trip, right? Buying property and not even seeing it, just going through the pictures.
We just drove fast like a creeper, mad creeping.
Because you couldn't go inside because someone was in there.
Well, so. I don't think it wasn't. We never asked. We was like, hey, fuck it. You got a renter in there?
It was respect, you know.
I don't want to go in there and be stomping all over your carpet.
Yeah. Looking around all in your stuff, right? Yeah. But he taking care of it though.
But that's one of the things, like you said, what I've ever thought about being a landlord. And 1,000%, that's where I wanted to be eventually, because to create passive income, one of the best ways to do it is in real estate. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but real estate is one of the best ways to do it. And that's what, we were, that's what our trajectory was, right? It's like, that's what we wanted to do. So when we had the opportunity to purchase this one and we didn't go and buy it and we just had a renter, it was cool. It was like, all right, we don't have to do nothing. Dude's paying rent.
Just collect.
Yeah, we own it. We have HOAs. We're getting passive income. All right. But then we got our first tenant call when he had an issue. When you get a phone call from somebody, and it don't matter what time, so they're on the East Coast.
Yes,
we're on the West Coast
too, right? Yeah.
You get a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. It's 4, 5 o'clock in the morning over here on the West Coast, and it's like, I got an issue or I got this. So that comes down to property management, right? So yeah, you're a landlord, but the difference between being a landlord and property management is huge, right?
Yeah,
because we're landlords and property managers.
Yeah.
And you always had a desire to be a property manager. And I was like, why?
I don't know. I just felt that it would be cool. Well, okay, one thing I know is back in the days, if you're the property manager, then you stay rent free at the place, right? So I always thought that was cool.
So like an apartment complex, you got apartment number 1.
Yep. You don't pay rent.
You don't pay rent.
And then you're like the super, right?
From the PJs?
That's why I had to say it that way.
The super. Oh, you took it back.
So they have to come and see you about everything, right? So you're like low key the boss. Like you're the boss of the apartment. So I was like, yeah, I would love to be the boss, you know? And they'd be like, hey, boss lady, can I get this? My bathroom is not working at all. So I'd be like, I'm sending somebody over there.
But you ain't paying for it.
Yeah, I'm just running it.
Yeah,
I just run it.
Just run it.
Yeah, and I live for free because I run it.
So that was your intentions on being a property manager back then.
Yeah.
What about now?
Now, the only properties I want to manage is ours. That's the ones that we own, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, what does that look like? It's like making sure that they have heating and cooling systems, that they're serviced, making sure they don't have rats, rodents. We had an issue with rodents in one of our properties. Making sure that the trees are cut. It's like one of those things that you don't really think of, right? We bought the property and it's like, hey, it came that way, you know, like that's the way it came. So you ain't complained. So, you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, we need to go through and maybe take a look at it and make it look like us, right? So that was pretty cool, like going in there. But that was the property management part of it now. Like that's what we have to do, like making sure that everything looks good. If there's no HOA fees, making sure that the grass gets cut and stuff like that.
It's funny that you said that because I just got a text message that our grass just got cut at one of the duplexes, and he hit me with the bill on Cash App. He's like, "Yo, here you go. Send me the pictures," which is cool, right?
Yeah, and that is cool. Yeah.
So you one of the things about managing property, because it's not easy, right? You gotta build relationships, and for us to do it 3,000 miles away, right? We manage property on a few different, we have 5 doors. Two
duplexes.
Yeah, 5. So so we have condo. 5 doors, and when you manage property, one of the biggest things is creating a system. Like you gotta create a system. It's one of the, like you could read books and you could figure it, you could like, oh, I got all the game from reading Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Cash Quadrant, and all these other different books out there. And there's a lot of content, but nothing actually really shows you how to manage properties effectively. Now, you could go and hire a property manager, and they'll probably take, back in the days it was 10%. I'm not sure where it is today. But they'll take 10% of whatever your rent is, and they'll make sure it's rented. They'll take care of it maintenance-wise. You keep cash in. Right. And then when it becomes vacant, they'll go out and find people to put it in. If you don't have time to do that, that's a great way to do it. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know where we find the time to do that, but we find time. We make it happen.
I know. I know. And it's true. You're right. It's like if you can have all the information. It's like a song. I can't remember who sings the song, but it's like, I can give it to you, but what you gonna do with it? You know what I mean? I can give you all the game, right? Yeah. But what you gonna do with it? Like now what? You know? True. So you got to be able to do it. That's why you got to make the systems, and you got to actually do the processes, and then that's what makes it actually work. Yeah,
and once you pull the trigger, that's when the figuring shit out comes to play, right? Yeah. So on the condo, the first condo that we bought, because it was all cash, we don't have to worry about a mortgage, and we was able to put it in our business name. Now, understanding because people are like, oh yeah, I got. It goes back to when you hear things, right? Yeah. And then it's like, all right,
it's going on my business. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Business owns this and that. I'm telling you, it's not as easy as it sounds, right? So just make sure you're not just researching, but talking to professionals. Yes. Like you got to talk to lawyers. You got to talk to, depending on what state, lawyers handle everything, and then you do the escrow stuff. Like you got to talk to people that actually are in this world and doing the legal stuff correctly. So the condo is in our business, but the other duplexes are in our personal names. Yeah. So if you own businesses or if you own real estate, it all has to be separated from a liability standpoint. And I didn't understand that going into it. I was like, I'm like, what do you mean liability? Yeah. It's an asset. That's what we're gonna make all this money.
Until somebody trip and fall and sue your ass.
Exactly. and then you think about, I'm gonna make all this money. It's like, no, in reality, you only make $100, $200 a month. Yeah.
All this money.
Exactly. So you don't even make enough money. So if I live in California, I don't even make enough money on my real estate to pay for gas. You know what I mean? So
It's real talk.
So that's why you got to do
Real
it
talk.
indoors. You know, you got to build it out, right?
Yes.
It's keep it. You know, it's not about get rich over time. Like you got to build up to that stuff.
Yeah. And the very first condo that we bought, once the guy moved out, we actually changed it to an Airbnb, which I was like, yay!
Which is a whole nother different property management
that's my
system.
baby. It actually is me getting to experience being a property manager. And I ain't gonna lie, when people ask a lot of questions, I'd be like, I don't want to rent to you. It's like, I know you're gonna be issues. I know you're gonna not issues, but just you guys know the one, that squeaky wheel always gets the grease.
Yo, 1,000%. We get some messages on Airbnb, like the one that you got. Do you rent to 21?
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, what she said? Do you have to be 21 to book it?
Yeah.
Because I'm only 20.
Yeah.
And,
It's like, huh?
and then, of course, we in a new time where you got to respond, because if you don't respond, you
You
get
get bad time. Yeah, you get a bad rating.
It's like, oh, you didn't respond quick enough.
Yeah,
You're
so they
98%. It's like, and me, I'm all about the
Oh
numbers.
God, I was just saying,
I'm like,
Tommy is all about the numbers. I'm like, I don't care. He's like, maybe that's a big deal. Okay.
I was an A+ student for a long time.
I know.
So if you grading me, like, no, fuck that. I don't like the grading. The grading system is already in my mentally. I'm like, I got to be the best of the best. So we get a response, and I'm like, yo, babe, make sure you fucking respond. Like, he's like, I didn't see it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I already responded.
Yeah. And then literally I'll be responding, and then I see his response pop up like, babe, I thought I was doing this. He's like, no, I got it. So I see it.
Try to keep that 100%.
I'm like, babe, we are fine, okay? I literally have never looked at someone's percentage when I book an Airbnb.
You know what? And that's you. But you know what?
Never.
There's millions of people out there that probably will judge.
I need to see the space, the place. I'm gonna look. Now I look at reviews, because I didn't look at reviews before. But now, because the reviews teach you, they teach you things like they say they have a kitchen, but they don't have pots and pans.
Yeah. If you go into the rental business, and if you go on a short-term rental, so now Airbnb is short-term rental,
rentals,
right?
Yes.
So, and that's understanding the market, right? So you got short-term rental, you got long-term rentals,
and then
right?
LTRs, yes.
So if you're short-term rentals, and make sure you understand the rules and regulations in whatever market that you're in when it comes to managing property. So
Truth.
So we have an Airbnb in a condo, and short-term rental business is okay there. In San Diego, you can't have short-term rentals in downtown San Diego.
Yes.
Like a condo.
Right.
It's illegal. Like that shit's crazy. It's illegal.
It's illegal. Yeah.
Now, long-term rentals, no problem.
No problem.
Now, but you don't get as much return on investment.
Right.
With
From
long-term rentals.
Right.
But you have less headaches and less liability.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And then if you're downtown and you own a condo, then you don't want to have these random people coming in and out. And downtown is a party town, right? So these people are going to come in, they're going to turn the hell up, and then they're going to leave, And it's like, now these people who are living there are stuck with whatever these people left with.
So
or
would
left them.
Would you want to manage? What would you rather? It's like that game. Would you rather? Would you rather?
This is not so bad though.
Manage 50 Airbnb units or 50 long-term rentals?
All right. So if we're talking about money,
it doesn't matter. Whatever way you want to take it.
And it's gonna be those 50, those Airbnbs,
really,
those short-term rentals. Yeah,
you would probably have white hair.
I probably would, but I'd be on the beach somewhere, making sure my cleaning crew goes to the house.
So now that's the other thing.
We have systems, right?
Yeah.
So I know wherever as long as I have a system, then I'm good. I'm Gucci. I'll put a system with each property, as long as I have housekeeping, and then I have like a manager to go and manage the property. So if anything happens and I'm not there, then I could say, hey, the manager's coming, and then my housekeeping, they clean and take care of the property, then I'm good.
Yeah. So you got to have cleaning and you got to have staging, right? So the property got to be cleaned. and then it has to be staged. And if you're doing short term, right?
And if you're doing it right.
Now, if you're doing long term, you got to add value to the property. You know, I mean, we've all rented. Everybody's rented, and you know it. Like, you got landlords that didn't care about the property, and you just lived there, and it is what it is. Don't be like that person, right? You know, you want to change the game. You know, add value. So I think one of the hardest things for us when we had to raise the rent on our long term rentals.
Yeah.
And we had to raise the rent because taxes went up.
Yeah.
And, you know, now me as a renter, I never understood that.
Right.
When, you know, and we talked about this on an episode where people was, you know, raised the rent on us, and we was like, well, what changed? They never actually explained it to us.
No,
right?
but they're a company so they're the property management company, so they probably it was never explained to them.
True
to
that.
be quite honest.
True that. So when I sent the letter out to our tenants saying, hey, we got to raise the rent as of
This is
January
why.
1st. No, I didn't even say this is why. I just said we raising the rent.
Yeah, no
right?
matter why.
And then somebody asked, like one of the tenants was like, well, why?
Yeah.
And I said,
that's right.
well, here's the reason why.
Yeah, not just willy nilly on you.
Yeah, no, because taxes went up based off of, you know, the assessed value. We got to make that adjustment. Of course, we're under market, so we're just putting it where market is, but we're still below the market. You know, so I explained it, right, and educated them, and it was like, oh, okay. And then we added the landscape service, which, again, back to the bill I just got right now.
Yeah,
so
we didn't charge them for, but, you know.
So whatever value you can add as a landlord, as a property manager, you know, add that value because it goes a long way.
So I think that's like there's the property management, and then there's the financial management as well. So that's the part of financial management. It's like how much is the rent supposed to be, and then like you said, how much do you actually make off of the property, right? And then late fees, how do late fees work, and then the HOAs and all that. So one thing is when you have property, remember you have the property management, and then you have the financial management as well. Along with that, though, you do have tenant management, right? Because you have the tenants, you have to manage the tenants. There's going to be the times where they're like, I can't pay rent, right? Or this is broken.
1,000%.
And you're like, wait, why is it broken, right? Like, what are you doing in there, you know?
No, you don't ask.
No, but you don't ask. No,
Okay.
but you're just like, I mean, we haven't had any issues like that where like we say we bought something brand new and then it's like, oh, it broke
the next day.
No, but
in Airbnb we have, yes.
Yeah, well, but it was false, right? Like that's so.
They broke the
goes
vase.
back to that's true. But going back to your question, I'm like, oh, you're right. If I have 50 people,
Airbnbs or 50 long term.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, the stove doesn't work, or the stove is on oddly. Like it's one of the messages we got from the Airbnb.
Yeah.
So that's that tenant management, and I think Airbnb is like legit more tenant management than anything else. I mean, yeah, you have the property, the financials as well, but it's heavy on the tenant management part.
So I think, and one thing to understand the difference in short term and long term is you're more in the hospitality business when you have short term rentals.
That is so true.
So and if you know, understand hospitality, go to a hotel, visit a hotel, and when something happens, you know, you complain. You call downstairs and say, yo, this is not working. My hot water is not working. I don't have coffee in my count. You know, whatever the case may be, that's hospitality. So you gotta, you know, if you want those 5 stars or if you want those reviews. In long term, there's no reviews.
You gonna be there.
There's no 5 stars.
You gonna be there for 6 months.
Or 6
7 months,
years.
a year, especially if you got a lease. Like you got a year lease. They slow to fix anything. That's so true.
Yeah, and if you're a good landlord, then, you know, people stick around longer, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
One thing you said, which was important about financial management. So when it comes to managing real estate properties or rental properties, you have to make sure that your finances are all separated, right? So each property should have its own P&L.
Yes.
Now, P&L, profit and loss.
Yes.
So you got to treat each property like its own business. So if you have a condo, duplex, single family residence, that's not all one P&L. You don't put all of that on one profit and loss.
Yeah, because you have HOA fees on this property and perhaps not in this property.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it has to be all done separately.
You got repairs. You got like this property may be making you more money than this property. You may be losing money over here.
Because everything's falling apart over there.
Exactly. So you and you want to make sure when it comes to the breakdown. So if I'm only making $200 a month, why am I only making $200 a month? Because you have to pay your mortgage first, right? Once the mortgage is paid, then you have to put away at least whatever you get in rent. you have to put away at least 30% for repairs. So put 30% for repairs. If you're paying mortgage, taxes and insurance is already coming out, so you don't have to worry about that. But you have your repairs, and then you have to have save money just cause.
Yeah.
And then after, so that's at least 10%. So now 40% of what you're getting in mortgage, 40% is going into the savings account. That other 60%. It ain't like you just spend it and just, my favorite term you always say is willy-nilly. You don't go willy-nilly. Right? You just let that accrue. And then, you know, if nothing happens, then you go out and buy another property. Or when something happens, a roof repair, like I think the biggest issue we had other than the rodents, because the rodents was a very big issue for us.
It was.
So we had a house. We have a house, a duplex, where there were rats, raccoons, all kind of stuff
underneath into the basement, and they were like literally like nesting and dead, and and they had tons of cats, so they didn't know if it was a cat or
and we didn't know that. And the crazy thing is, like, we did due diligence, and it didn't even come up in our due diligence period. No. So now that's the other thing. You have to be thorough in due diligence, and if you don't know what due diligence means, that means you got to look this shit up, like. Everything. Look at the bones of this property. Every issue. And call it all out.
That's like a proper word for like inspection. Inspect the shit out of it, right? Like
due diligence
to the root, from the Rudy to the Tootie.
It's like when you go to the doctor, he says cough. Due diligence is very important.
You know, I think it's important too to go back to what you said. It's like, you know, what is the first thing you said that you have to do financially is pay your mortgage, right? And then all the other things that happen with the money. I think that's important because people don't understand like the importance of actually owning your own property and paying mortgage and not paying a rent, right? Which you're paying someone's mortgage and a little extra, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to say, like, it's so important to own your own property and to go through those steps. And we did a podcast on the way and how we did ours. So listen to that one if you want.
So managing rentals, when create your system, save your money, and when you create your, you know, and manage a property on your own, if you have the time before you go out and hire a property manager, because that 10%, you might not be able to afford that 10%. And
true.
The $200 might be the 10% that you're getting. Yeah. So it just depends, right?
It's true.
And when you build your doors out, right? Like we have 5 doors. Our goal in North Carolina is to get to 50 doors. Once we get to 50 doors, then we're going to go to another state and duplicate that. And when you listen to, like, you know, millionaires like Trump and all these guys that, you know, these guys got 10,000 doors, you know, like the apartment complexes, Grant Cardone, like all these guys, they get thousands and thousands of doors. So it's definitely doable, right? How you manage it is everything. But once you create the system that first time, all you have to do is duplicate it after that.
Rinse and repeat.
Exactly. The best way to create passive income is through real estate. And it's exactly what it is. It's passive income. It doesn't mean you pay your bills with it. It is like, oh, I'm waiting on this rent check so I can pay for this bill. Don't do that. Don't have this money coming in and you worried about it, because if that property is not rented, then you're going to be stuck.
So I love that. So that goes right into my quote. It's like investing, right? So that's you're straight up investing, and investing, and it should be like watching paint dry or watching grass grow. Because the shit's not fun. It's not exciting. It's not going to happen fast, right? And if you want something interesting, go to Vegas, go to Atlanta, like go somewhere else. And that's not my words. That is Paul Samuelson. So that is his quote.
That is profound. That is profound. And if you want where to start with a small condo. Know your market. Know your market. What's popping in that market? Is it a college town? Is there jobs? The most important thing you need to know when you're investing is if there's jobs. If there's no job opportunities in that area, that's probably not the best neighborhood or the best town to invest in. So make sure you do that research first. And like before we invested in North Carolina, I followed that market for 10 years.
Yeah, and we did a lot of research from each little city. Oh man, we looked up how much people make in that city, how many people are in that city, the jobs, the best jobs, schools, It's everything.
Entertainment
Yep.
matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah. What do people bring, or
Yep.
like, you know, what comes to that city?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff matters when you get into managing real estate. And this is stuff that I've never read in a book. This is based off of Danielle and I's like legit experience in bumping our heads and putting offers in. And we talked about an offer that we had put. We actually bought a house a few weeks ago, and we had to pull out of it.
Yeah, sure did.
Because it was a log cabin.
Yeah.
With snakes under it. Yeah, there's a lot of violations.
Yeah.
And we don't have the time to go in and knock it down. I got a cousin that does flips. Shout out to Inside the Flip on Instagram. And if you follow Inside the Flip, you know, he walks you through all of that stuff, but we don't have time for that. So we you know, everybody has their different thing that they're looking for. And make sure you just follow your thing.
Yes.
And go hard in that.
Yes. If you manage rental properties, just make sure you're not one of those, what do they call them?
Slumlords?
Yeah, don't be a slumlord,
Yeah,
right?
1000%.
Be a landlord.
Yeah, exactly. Be upright. Be you know, change the game.
Yeah,
like, you know what it was like.
And these people, you're like, right now, everybody that, like I said, there's not enough land and there's way more people, right? So people need help, man. So don't take advantage and help. And we did not shout out our not wine,
yet.
but
Not yet. We are going to shout out.
Let's go. Let's shout it out. Let's do it.
Shout out to Free Range Flower Winery. Aaliyah Nitutu has now. It looks like we're not drinking wine. Like, it looks like champagne.
Yeah.
But it's a sparkling wine, and it's made from flowers.
Yes.
Like this is lavender. It's a lavender wine, and I mean, delicious.
I mean, it's dancing on my tongue. It's making love to my tongue. I love it. It's
when
amazing.
you say stuff like that, it makes me blink a lot.
Every sip, ladies, it's like it's making love to my tongue. You guys really gotta try this wine.
Yeah, 1000%. So this is it's one of those dessert wines. So it goes with, like, after, you know, you had a nice savory meal, goes with, you know, something salty, whatever the case may be. But man,
So good.
lavender wine made from flowers.
Straight flowers.
No grapes.
No
Zero grapes.
Zero.
All flowers.
Yeah.
Shout
I'm
out
still
to
buzzed, y'all.
shout out to Free Range Flower Winery, Aaliyah Nitutu, up in Northern California. Thank you for sharing this.
13.5% alcohol still.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this beautiful piece of work with us
Yes.
on Life and Shit.
Love you, shit. Love you, man.
Love you. Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.